I, Doris, shall pick up a few bits from the shops to help a Doris who is struggling to get out.
I, Doris.
I, Doris, shall use my voice to amplify the voices of my fellow Dorises.
I,
Doris. And I, Doris, shall never vote Conservative.
I, Doris!
I, Doris. Everyone likes that one.
Just some Doris. You can just ignore us. Don't need to know my name. Girls are all the same. Fags are all the same. Chicks are all the same. Doris is our name.
Hello and welcome to the Dorising podcast. Hello, Doris.
Hey, hello, Doris.
Hi, Doris.
How are you all doing?
Couldn't be better.
We've got some lovely guests coming on.
Ooh.
Yay. We've got Charley Stone.
Charley
Doris
Flipping Stone.
Charley Mother Flipping Stone. Then we've got Delila Black, who's also a friend of the Doris's, friend of the Loud Women. And then finally, we have got Stephanie Phillips from Big Joanie.
Very exciting.
Genuine sort of star these days.
Yeah, all the celebs on today.
Great.
We've got some lovely music as well that each of them has sent in, so that's really exciting. Should we have a listen to some music now?
Yeah, let's do that, shall we? Kick it off the right way.
Let's listen to a song called The Selfishness of Love by Salad.
Waking up with you, it's not adding up. Took you to the shops, but the shops were shut. Would have left you long ago if I'd had the guts. You bite the hand that feeds. You got a lot of needs. Waking up with you isn't adding up too much. And when you are alone, you call me on the phone to tell me I'm the one. And when you're feeling blue, want me to feel it too. The selfishness of love, of love. Gotta brace myself with the day in store. Thought I really nailed it, but you just want more. You just want more and more. You bite the hand that feeds. You're sowing poison seeds. It'd make me laugh if it didn't make me weep. And when you are alone, you'll call me on the phone to tell me I'm the one. And when you're feeling blue, want me to feel it too. The selfishness of love,
let's see who's at the door. It's Charley Stone.
Oh, hi, Charley Stone.
Hello.
Doris Tabards on.
We wear them all the time.
Yeah, I wear mine to bed. What?
Is this actually started now?
It is actually started now.
Okay, this is for real. Hello, viewers.
Just
So,
most of the
Charley,
time.
I've never met you before, and
No.
different of me and for our listeners, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do with yourself?
I'm Charley Stone. I'm in all the bands. I'm not in all the bands. I've been in quite a lot of the bands, going way, way back to the original Riot Girl days. See, if this was a visual thing, I could show you. I've got a big chart on my wall that says Charley fucking Stone. Oh, are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
It's encouraged. Yeah.
And it's basically a big, long, one of those
Family tree type things, isn't it?
Rock family trees,
Yeah.
yes. But that only goes up until 9 years ago, so it's actually out of date already, and there's about 50 bands on there. So, I mean, they're not all bands I was in, they're bands, you know, I'm on each line pretty much, and then there's all the branching out, you know how it goes.
Well, give us some top highlights from your musical CV then.
So, I guess the first band I was in that got any kind of attention was Frantic Spiders. And then I briefly joined Night Nurse when Charlotte Hatherley left them to join Ash. Oh, actually, that's the wrong way round. Okay, I was in Salad first, after Frantic Spiders. And then I was in Night Nurse for a little bit when Charlotte Hatherley joined Ash. And then, I was in lots of... I can't go through them all, can I? Highlights. Gay Dad would be the next highlight. Gay Dad was the one that I did the most sort of exciting big tours and telly and everything with. And then I was in a band called Spy 51 for several years. And then I ended up touring with Charlotte Hatherley a little bit. I'm trying to say things the viewers might know, you know, because I've been in so many bands, but most of them I'll just reel off the names and everyone will go, never heard of them.
Well, I think the listeners to a Dorising podcast are a pretty discerning bunch.
Anyway, in recent times, Salad, my band that I was in the mid-90s, reformed a few years ago. Yeah. So been doing that again, and alongside the last few years, I've played in about 12 bands per year. I've done gigs with about 12 bands every year, but that includes things like the Fallen Women, Joanne, the ABBA Stripes, Chief Top of the Pops and his minor UK indie celebrity orchestra, Wollstonecraft, the Misters of Circe, MX Tyrants.
Are you reading off your own Wikipedia page?
No, those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
Wow. And you play guitar in all of those bands, don't you? Do you ever play bass?
Oh, thank you for reminding me, Cassie. Yes, I sometimes have played bass in the past. I used to play bass in a surf band called the Deptford Beach Babes. And then
I've heard of that band.
Well, you may well have heard of that band, Lucy, given that you were in that band.
I was in that band, yes. And in actual fact, quick story for the viewers. So the Deptford Beach Babes was the first band that I was ever in my entire life, which I didn't join until my 30s, and that was all entirely down to Charley fucking Stone.
Hey.
We had this conversation. Yeah, we had a conversation once outside a pub, and I'd had a sherry or two. And you were telling me about the fact that there was a trombone player in your band. And I was like, oh, I'm a trombone player. Yeah. You know, great. And you kind of looked at me like, I've just said we have a trombone player. And I kind of went, oh, just embarrassed myself. And it was one of the first times I met you as well, I think. And you got hold of me about a week later to say that your trombone player had quit. And could I come and play trombone? What I hadn't told you was my trombone had been sat in an attic for about 15 years. And I had said to you, I can't do this week, but can you, maybe in a couple of months. And I went back to my parents' house, I got the trombone out of the attic, I practiced it solidly, and then never told anyone. But that's what happened.
I'm intrigued
And
to
I've
know
also-
what happened to that trombonist that suddenly disappeared.
I don't even, do you know,
Didn't say.
because I don't even remember us having a trombonist before Lucy now either. I literally don't remember that.
There were no trombonists before me. That's what you have to remember. I am the original.
It's a very on-brand Dorising musical story, you know. I think, us all kind of picking up various instruments with various levels of practice and skill and making a good go of it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, guitar is my main thing, but I love playing in bands where I don't know the instrument so well, because I think it just makes you very creative. Well, one would hope we're creative all the time, let's be honest.
Okay.
Always creative all of the time. But there is something that's quite freeing and kind of interesting about picking up something that you're less skilled in and just seeing what you can do with it. So, yeah, when I joined the Beach Babes, I hadn't played bass before, and I played bass with the Nuns as well for a bit, and then I played keyboard with the Nuns, and I remember, I just basically, it's brilliant, right? When I first played keyboard with the Nuns, I'd been at a party a few weeks before, lying on the floor listening to Kate Bush and going, when you think about it, the piano is a very simple instrument. And everyone looked at me like, what? And I went, well, you just basically, you find the chords with your left hand and sort of play them rhythmically, and then you let your right hand sort of twiddle around the same notes. And everyone just laughed and said, yes, Charlie, very simple, much like the triangle. And I was just like, no, I know I'm onto something here. And then I joined the Nuns, and that was basically how I taught myself to play the Nuns songs.
Who could be at the door?
Shall we see who's at the door?
Let's do that.
It's Delila Black.
Delilah.
Hello.
Oh,
Hey,
great.
nice to
great,
see
great.
you.
Yeah, and you. Yeah, how is everyone?
Good. How
Very
are you?
well.
Yeah, okay. Just finish my day job.
What
Good.
is your day job? Can we ask?
I work at a community center, so we just started going back in this week. So it's all like really intense, and there's sanitizing stations everywhere, and you know, wearing masks in communal areas, and like all these protocols. So it's just like really full on. But but it was okay. It was all right being back.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just to introduce everyone, the three ladies called Doris wearing tabards that say Doris.
Hi.
We're all Doris.
Yeah,
Hi.
we are.
And the non-Doris, well, they're the kind of part-time, occasional Doris is
Doris.
Charley Stone.
I suppose I am a part-time Doris, aren't I?
You have Doris before.
I have Doris. I'm Charley Stone.
You have Doris. You have Doris experience.
Yes, in a way.
Charley helped us with some recording. Charley produced 2 of our singles and bossed us around in the studio, which was much needed. And
Loved it.
Yes, of course.
it was great.
Who doesn't love being bossed around in a studio?
So what are you up to musically at the moment, Delila?
Gosh, well, there's always something, really. I'm never not doing something because I do everything myself. So I'm editing. I've just recorded an acoustic thing, and it's a fundraiser that I'm doing. And it's sort of, I was trying to do a protest song, but it ended up not being, so sort of, fuck everybody. It turned out to be more kind of really mellow, kind of acoustic, bluegrassy kind of thing. And then Ben Paley, do you know Ben? Ben, he was Tom Paley's son. Tom was like a real sort of like folk, old gentleman. He died a few years ago, and he was like a kind of, hippie folk pioneer, not hippie, but more like a folk a guy from the 60s, and like Bob Dylan kind of cited him as one of his influences and things like that. And he was a contemporary with Woody Guthrie, but he lived in London. And I'd met him some years ago, and just was like hanging out with him. Very interesting person, and we got to be friends. And then he played on some tracks for me. When he passed away, but his son Ben, his son plays fiddle as well, as really great player and everything. So he's going to play on this thing that I'm doing. So I'm really excited about that. He just finished recording it and he sent me his parts. So I'm mixing that. I've done a video for it, but it's I'm not in it. It's more just like a kind of a statement, sort of like, you know, showing things that are going on, a bit more sort of political thing. And then what else am I doing? And I'm editing. I've got a video that I've got to edit. I finished shooting it with the other two people that I work with Buckley and Desiree. So yeah, it's because I do everything. I'm never not doing something. If I'm not trying to mix something, I'm editing something, or I'm trying to shoot something or record something.
Trying to take you down, so fight him, fight him, fight him, fight him. Ain't no mistake. Every time you speak, all day, all week, they trying to take you out. Fight him, fight him, fight him, fight him. You're so common. Don't let those demons push you around. Smack them up, smack them down. You better fight. You better fight, 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 fight it! You can't relax. Y'all better watch y'all backs. Some cunt's he's trying to fuck you up, so fight him, fight him, fight him, fight. Don't fall asleep, 'cause it'll make you wake. Don't be like sheep, I'm trying to help you out. Fight him, fight him, fight him, fight him. You're so common. Don't let those demons drag you away. Hunt them down, make them pay. You better fight. You better fight. 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 Fight it! This ain't no joke, y'all. Your mama told you right. You gotta cut those demons down. You better fight, 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 fight. Smash their jaws. Bust their lip. Crack your whip. Show who's boss. Fuck those demons up. Fight 'em. Fight 'em. Fight, 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 fight 'em.
So I'm mixing for this thing that I'm doing called Routine. I hope to have it out in the beginning of October, so it's coming up fairly quickly. And then I'm trying to finish editing a video. It's like a mashup of two different songs. I'm mashing up like a Kings of Leon track with a Shabba Ranks track
Whoa.
together.
That is an interesting combination of things.
So it's a very, very tricky balance, very fine balance, but especially considering, Shabba Ranks' track record and, the things that he said, and then, and then the Kings are all guy, male rock, all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit of a tricky balance, but yeah, I'm mashing those two together. And I've just done a video to it similar to the one I did for You're So Common, the lockdown video. So I'm trying to get that together as well. So yeah, it's pretty full on with that and the day job. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're one of these impressive people who've just got creativity that has not been blocked by all the nonsense that's been going on in the back.
I have no life. I mean, I've got no life. I don't socialize. I've got no friends. I'm one of those weird people who's in my room all the time. This is it. This is my life. This is it. Oh.
You played recently the Decolonize Fest online.
Yeah, that was my first time doing an official sort of lockdown event, thing, a festival, and they were just really fantastic. I'm very impressed, with how everything went. I mean, the communication was great. All the people involved were really great as well. The other bands were very supportive. Everyone was promoting it, and it was just like a very good vibe all the way around. It was a really good experience. Very different from live. And I don't know, I'm starting to think like I'm getting into this lockdown online thing, there isn't the hassle of traveling and, carting your gear around and all the other things that go along. Well, all of that stuff, I mean, it wasn't too bad an experience at all. The problem that I had is afterwards, because I'm doing a day job as well, it's just the balancing of my time, that was really difficult. But all in all, it was a very positive experience. And I think then the other bands that were on were fantastic. And I thought, if nothing else, I mean, it's terrible, the whole COVID thing. But the other thing I thought as well is that I don't think I would have the chance to have the experience of playing alongside these other people, or even like meeting them, or virtually meeting them, or anything like that. I don't think that these opportunities would have come up had it not been such a severe experience.
And how was it as a performer? Because like when you're performing, the connection with the audience really feels like a big part of it, of the feel.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That part's weird. That's weird because in our case we had I use a sound. Oh, I think the sound guy that I use, Charles Wong. Do you know Charles Wong?
Charles does the sound at Loud Women gigs that I hope and anchor.
Yeah. So I asked Charles Wong to come in to do the sound, and he's really fantastic. So he was there, so he was like the audience, but other than that, it's an odd experience, and you've got to use your imagination a lot, I think. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know who I'm shouting to. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, no one in particular. So that's very odd, but yeah, that's strange. That's something to get used to. There's no chemistry, there's no feedback, there's no dialogue, there's no, so that's, that part's hard.
Charley, you've been doing some online concerts,
I was just thinking, as I just say that, it's like when I've done some like Facebook Live performances, and it's so strange when you just kind of you're singing, you can see yourself on the screen, and you can hear your voice in the room rather than out there, and you've got no feedback at all from anyone else. And I found it, the first few times I did it, it was so scary. It was like, I don't get nervous on stage usually. I haven't for years, but I had the kind of adrenaline shakes of like, it's a whole new kind of set of nerves to learn to overcome. And I find it really enjoyable, but it's so different to doing a normal gig.
It is. It's a strange feeling because you're not quite sure how to behave. And like usually at a gig, there's there'll be somebody there who says something, and then you sort of have a little back and forth or something, but yeah, it's a weird experience. Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I'll try it again. I would do it again. I've learned a bit from doing that, so I would do it again. Maybe get like a couple more people to, I don't know, help with lighting or something like that. But yeah.
Have you always been solo? Have you been in bands?
Music wasn't something I intended to do. I kind of ended up doing it. I was doing fashion and like art and that sort of thing. Very kind of floaty bohemian kind of stuff. FIT, I went to fashion school, and then I had like a job on 7th Avenue in New York, and I was just like doing fashiony stuff, and then I started like doing my own sort of thing, and then I was like making jewelry and things and just like hanging out really. And then I kind of got more and more involved with music people, or people that were sort of linked to music, or where they were like more involved with music than I was, and then so I ended up doing it. And then but I was still doing my fashiony thing. And then I started going for like people who were looking for people to work on projects, like a singer looking for a producer looking for whatever, and just like answering ads. And then and I wasn't like, well, I was like terrible. I think I was too weird as well, because I wasn't really what they were looking for. But I liked going and doing these things. I liked going on these auditions, and I liked doing all that stuff. And I was meeting interesting people while I was doing it. So I ended up meeting some people who I did do some musical projects with. And then I'd always liked music, and I was always writing, but not really with any plan to do anything with it. I just like enjoyed writing, and I like the arts. So anything expressive or visual. I mean, my family's like, my dad as well used to sort of get up and read poetry, in the middle of watching some cartoons or something. He'd bring out a book and start reciting, I shot an arrow into the air, and all that stuff. So all that was already there. So I was kind of into it. And then I think eventually as time went on, I met up with this guy, who a guitarist and we sort of got together and started writing. And then we started playing in a band together, and eventually, different versions of it happened. It ended up being a band called Drill Queen that ended up being a kind of like a sort of cult. We had like a cult following. And then like gamers, this guy online, Jim Sterling, I think his name is, and he's got like this gaming review show. He's like a gamer guru. He used the single that we had on his show, his YouTube channel. And so it became a kind of gaming anthem or something. And then this guy in Australia, this wrestler in Australia, used it to go into the ring, into the ring.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was very
random.
Interesting how it all came together. And then but people just sort of got into it. And then Ricky Gervais played it once on his show. Ricky Gervais used to have a radio show on XFM years ago. Right. So he played it on that, and then people had heard it on that, and they were still like sending comments like, I heard this on Ricky. I don't know. I mean, that was like ages ago that they had heard it. And then I would get like a link of some guy in his bedroom, like dancing and bouncing around. And so it kind of took a life of its own. And then this guy made a cartoon. So he was like, he had like I think he's fairly successful now. This guy called Mario. Yeah, actually, I think he's doing quite well. And he's got like his graphics that he does his cartoon. And then he did this character based on the Drill Queen singer character, which was me. So it all started taking on all these different lives. And then recently, a guy called Fenna, somebody sent me a link of something called Fenna, and he's doing these monster graphics. They're really good, very professional, like really, really good. And he's developed this character, and she's like, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, sort of a cross in between, but like this sort of monster character, and that's the monster's theme song, and he's done like a whole video of this monster singing the song from it. So it's just sort of got its own life, and I'm like, okay, well, that's great. You know?
That's amazing.
I was born depressed and I end up in one big mess and trip around it, trip around it. I was born jaded, I lift one finger up to display it and trip around it, trip around it, trip around it, trip around it. I'm born different, born innocent, born perfect. I'm not like you, I'm a born lover, born living, and I know I'm not like you. I was born clever, born knowledgeable, born better than your best. I swear I'm a born killer, born thriller. I was born depressed and a big black shadow looms suppressed, and I trip around it, trip around it. I was born clever and I don't suffer fools. I dip and I trip around it, trip around it, trip around it, trip around it. I'm born perfect, born different, born better. I'm not like you. I'm a born lover, born living, and I know I'm not like you. I was born clever, born knowledgeable, born better than your best. I swear I'm a born killer, born thriller. Born different, born innocent, born perfect. I'm not like you. I'm a born lover, born living, and I know I'm not like you. I was born clever, born knowledgeable, born better than your best. I swear I'm a born killer, born thriller. Born perfect, born different, born better. I'm not like you. I was born other, born living, and I know I'm not like you. I'm a born clever, born knowledgeable, born better than your best. I swear I'm a born killer, born
So that's the band, you know, the most successful, you know, band project that I've been in. And then all the other things, after that, I just started doing my own thing as just myself, Delila Black. And so it's been a year since I've just been doing my own thing. I started working with Buckley, and we were doing open mics around London. And then from the open mics, we got a couple of gigs, we got some acoustic gigs, and then we got an electric one. And I was really looking forward to doing like part acoustic and part electric, because I'm doing like a kind of punk Americana type thing. So we were doing folk clubs as well. I like doing the folk clubs. I like doing the traditional stuff as well. But I still kind of missed going and just doing the whole raging, like, you know.
Yay.
So I thought, well, maybe I'll try and do both of those and see if we could do both. So yes, I've been doing it about a year, and then lockdown happened. This would have been like our first complete year we were doing something. Oh,
Shall we see who's at the door?
I think we should.
Avon. It might just be
suspense.
a package. It might just be
Oh.
something.
I know.
The ghost at the door.
Someone just knocking on the doorbell and running off. What's that called? Knockdown Ginger.
Knockdown Ginger.
Or
I like
knock
this.
on ginger, we used to say in
On
Exeter.
Ginger.
Oh.
Oh no, I can see it's Stephanie Phillips.
Oh.
Hey, hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Thanks so much for joining us. What are you up to at the moment, Stephanie?
I guess just kind of general, finishing things up with Decolonise and then trying to start up for next year, and also doing some writing with Big Joanie, so we're kind of getting ready to do our second album and stuff like that, and and also just trying to do general work. So yeah, always busy.
So your first album, Sisters, did you put that out yourselves, or did you put that out with a label?
We put that with a label. So we kind of recorded it ourselves first with just like the money we saved up from gigs, and then we're kind of shopping it around to labels. But people either had no money or weren't sure what to do with us, or, it seemed like a strange concept, I think Big Joanie did. And then we bumped into Thurston Moore and his partner Ava Prince at a gig, and they agreed to put it out like immediately. So we released with them in 2018, and it was a really like great kind of random happening, but it's worked out really well for us.
A really odd coincidence. I was actually standing next to Thurston Moore at that. It was the X, wasn't it? You supported,
yeah.
And I was standing there going, "That's Thurston Moore. I think that's Thurston Moore. No, it can't be. It certainly looks like Thurston Moore." And then a few weeks later, I heard that Thurston Moore is working with Big Joanie. I was like, "Whoa!" I saw that magic happen.
Yeah, you were there.
Music history. I hear today you've got some exciting tour news as well.
Yeah. So we're going to be playing next May some support slots with Idols in the UK. So yeah, that should be really interesting. And they're playing with loads of amazing bands like Kate LeBon and Jenny Beth and Shopping as well, and like loads of others for quite a few dates. So yeah, we've never really played those types of venues, so it should be really interesting and like a different crowd. I hope they'll like us.
I'm sure they will. You've had some amazing support slots in the last couple of years. We saw you at Bikini Kill.
Yeah.
What else? You did Slay Zucchini as well?
Yeah, we did Slay Zucchini, and we did a Europe tour with The Gossip as well. So yeah, it's just, I guess, like, luckily having the album out, and kind of having Ava and Thurston's help, it's kind of really pushed us in the direction of those bands that we kind of were really inspired by, really. As there would be no Big Joanie without all of those bands. So we just kind of managed to get on their radar, and it's just been really so appreciative to everyone that's kind of given us a chance and let us play with them and hang out with them and see their audience, because it's really kind of helped us get where we want to go, and just to generally kind of be part of that moment, to kind of be just in the same room as like the Bikini Kill reunion was just like amazing. Anyway, we all had tickets anyway because we weren't sure.
Did you?
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like, when all obviously the pandemic stuff happened, you guys were really kind of in the middle of being on a roll. So has it been quite strange to have to sort of pause things, or?
Well, I think, in a way it has been strange, but also I think maybe some musicians will find the same, that because there was so much going on, now that everything's paused, it's given us a chance to actually kind of focus on what we need to do, and that was to kind of get back to finishing writing and to kind of actually have something to follow up for the first album. So it has made us a bit more focused. But yeah, we were mostly touring, but then I guess we'd kind of come to the end of our tour for Sisters. It was a shame though, because we did book some really amazing festival dates. We wish we could have done them. But you know, pandemics are pandemics, so you can't mess with them.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear about the second album. Is that with Thurston's label?
Yeah, same label. So yeah, we're enjoying working together, and I think it's going to be. I mean, it feels fun, kind of getting everything together at the moment. It just feels a bit like we've got a lot of ideas, so we just need to narrow it down into album formats. There's only so many songs you can have, I think.
What's a good number of songs to go on an album, Charley Stone? You're a good arbiter of such things.
Well, a good number would be 10 or 12. However, now I was interested to hear Stef saying about the pause brought on by pandemic and everything, and focus and everything. I found it was useful for me in the sense that I was already thinking I wanted to do a solo album, and then kind of like everything stopped and all my tours and gigs got stopped, and it was like, oh, okay, so I've got all these songs that I'm going to make an album from. I'll start and think about that, and I thought, well, I've got 10, but are they the best 10? Maybe I should write 100 more to pick some more. So I didn't actually write 100 more. I wrote 55 more. Wow. I don't mean I literally wrote 55 whole songs. I had 55 song ideas in various stages.
Whoa.
And I've now narrowed it all down to 33, and now I'm stuck.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, and what has been good is because like the whole kind of that, there was that weird kind of peace at the beginning of lockdown because everyone was home and everything was quiet in the evening, and it really changed how I wrote. And I've all these songs, the 55 ideas that I got down during lockdown, they've got so much space to them, and they're very acoustic. Some of them have got just a clean guitar on, a couple of vocals maybe, and lots of reverb, and it's a whole different sound to anything that I've written before. But the thing is, because of that, I've kind of dismissed all the songs I wrote before because they don't fit the same kind of feel. And even so, I've got like 33 that I think I don't know which 10 to pick from this.
Oh, that is hard. I don't know.
I think that's several albums then, isn't it?
Yeah. I agree.
Triple album.
I'm very hungover today. I need someone to say it's fine for me to lay down in a heap. I'm quite dehydrated today. My brain's in disarray. I can't focus on anything, and I'm going to fall asleep. But I don't care. No, I don't care. 'Cause everything felt so good last night, and I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay, and the trees will all shield me from the light. I'm very hungover today. I need someone to say I don't need to do anything anymore. 'Cause I'm feeling a little bit weak. My brain slowly sink down to the floor. But I don't care. No, I don't care. 'Cause everything felt so good last night. And I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay. And the trees will all shield me from the light. From the light.
Steffi, your solo project is still ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the thing where, you know, it takes a lot of energy to focus on big Joanie stuff. So I always have, you know, there's never enough time to do the solo project, but it is something that I want to keep doing. And, you know, like Charley, I have like song ideas and, you know, scribbles that I've had for kind of a few years now. And it would be good to kind of fully realize them. I think I just need to kind of set a deadline and set a number of songs and then just go to a studio and, you know, kind of make it happen.
What remains in the lukewarm embers of his heart is only cold, only dust, only fragments lying round. Now his heart has turned to rust. But when it was alive, we were on fire. Knew that we wouldn't get any higher. How love came down on him that night. How love came down on him that night. How love lit up the night sky. How love came down. What remains in the lukewarm embers of his soul is only grit, only soil, only sketches of the girl that's no longer spoken of. But when it was alive, you were all mine, open wide and swallowed divine. How his love came down on her that night. How his love came down on her that night. How his love lit up the night sky. How the love came down. But when it was alive, you were all mine, open wide and swallowed divine. How love came down on him that night. How love came down on him that night. How love lit up the night sky. How love came down.
Stephanie, had you done anything before Big Journey, or was Big Journey your first band? Because you did First Timers, didn't you?
Yeah, but I was in a band before that called My Therapist Says Hot Damn, and that was like a feminist punk band.
Yes, yeah, it was so Fleeta.
Yes, yeah. So I was doing that for like 2 or 3 years, and then, I guess like I wanted to try. I'd been writing songs, but they didn't really fit for My Therapist, and I wasn't the singer or the songwriter at that band, and I wanted to be more involved in understanding or finding other punks of colour and other Black punks, and it just felt like I shouldn't be the only one. It didn't really make any sense to me. So yeah, that was why we wanted to start Big Journey, and we were all kind of. I was new to singing; I'd never sung before. Shadeen had never played drums before, and Kira, our original bassist, had never played bass before. So we're all kind of just figuring out and just kind of trying to find a space to just kind of be a bit more free, I think, is what the original aim was. Big Journey was, and then we kind of just kept going because it was just really fun to keep surprising ourselves with creativity, I think.
So how long has Big Journey been going now?
Since 2013. So
wow, that long.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the thing is, like, a lot of bands expect to be massive within like 2 years, but I think we were just very kind of, well, we took our time. Well, not necessarily, because the songs that we played on our first gig are on our debut album, so there's not much that's necessarily changed that much about our sound. But I think it is just, we just kept working, kept playing, and kept meeting new people, and just what you do in the DIY scene, which is kind of just hang out and see new people and kind of play new gigs. But I think it does kind of take a while for those who aren't like the standard like white cis male bands, to actually kind of break through or break out of any particular scene, because people still think that only men listen to folk music, and then only men want to see other men on stage, and that kind of thing is still kind of really prominent in the music industry. So, but we just everyone keeps going.
Did you used to put your own events on, Stephanie? Did you say you were putting on bands and things?
Yeah. So I didn't. I mean, I guess that's how I got started in the punk scene. I was involved in like Lady Fest, which is like a festival kind of like promoting and celebrating women and female-fronted bands, and that was like in 2010. That's when I first came into the London punk scene, and then me and Sophie, my first band, started running like a gig night in a club night, and we put on bands and then DJ after and stuff like that. So
did you find that you had to do that, or was that something you wanted to do, or did you do that as a response to what the scene was like, so you had to like make up your own thing because was the scene closed off to you, or was that something that you intended to do anyway?
I don't think the punk scene was closed off to me, because I think the punk scene when I joined it was like very heavily female dominated, from what I can remember the DIY punk scene being, but it was still majority white, and like I would see maybe me and Rachel Aggs at one show, and that would be it. And it wasn't really something that was ever talked about. No one really discussed it. No one really wanted to do anything about it. So, I mean, while I put those shows on, that wasn't really helping that. What kind of made me want to kind of make more of a stand was kind of starting Big Journey. And that was kind of this is actually creating a space for me. The punk scene was already kind of, to me, quite an okay space for white women. I mean, I can't speak for white women, obviously, but it felt like it was fine for, or, people could create their own bands and do their own thing, and it felt okay in that sense, but there wasn't really much for Black women to, back in, that was in like 2010, 2012, around then.
And do you feel it's got at all better since then?
I mean, yeah, of course, but that's because, because of things like, just general kind of change in the way that we conceive music, the change in our attitude to kind of like taking control of things. So kind of Black Lives Matter is kind of so much more prominent in that aspect. So people do want to take that control in every aspect of their lives and kind of want to kind of be more open about the things they love and kind of being able to go in the spaces they want to go in. So I think, people of colour have made more of a stand in kind of asking for more and kind of not really wanting to settle for no, really, and that there was, the pretend that there's no reason why, this show is all white, or there's no reason why, or the bands are all white, or or whatever happens. And I think people are quite interested in creating their own spaces and creating their own bands. So it feels like there's been quite a lot more bands that have come out to me in the last, I'd say definitely in the last 5 years, it's kind of changed completely. And so from when I was like first started in 2010, it's completely different. And I think it's really amazing. I feel like people that are kind of just coming to the punk scene now wouldn't believe like how like completely different it was like, only 10 years ago. If you just think about how society in general thinks about the concept of, racism and kind of dealing with those issues in a bit more kind of upfront way, I think that has changed. And I think that has positively influenced everyone in the punk scene, I'd say. It just feels like people are a bit more aware of kind of trying to do better and wanting to create a scene that's kind of beneficial for everyone. Because if you have, if you allow space for everyone to grow, then there's going to be a kind of more diverse crowd. There's going to be kind of all these kind of new people springing up, and then you'll get new talents and get kind of like new life into the punk scene. So
It's better.
Yeah.
It's always better.
So do you have any hot tips of new bands that Dorising podcast listeners should check out?
New bands. I guess who have we had decolonized? I feel like I have such a bad memory, so the only problem. I can't think of things, but obviously, Delila Black is on here.
Yeah.
But we had a really cool act, Princess, who's like a DJ, kind of like punk and indie kind of, but also an MC, and they played Decolonize. There was
did you have Screaming Toenail?
Oh yeah, I don't think they didn't play this year. Jacob did a workshop, but yeah, they've had an album out this year, which is really cool. There's also No Home, who you've probably put on before.
Don't think I have actually. No.
Okay.
Don't know them.
They're like name's Charley, and they're like experimental rock, and they had an album out this year as well, which is really, really cool. It's like kind of spacey concept album.
Space rock.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
That's good.
Doris is taking notes there on the side. I can
Yeah, but yeah, No Home. They're really
Had me
cool
at
as well.
space.
Or I see it as spacey. I don't know.
Oh, we have a question from the floor.
Little question. I just realised that earlier I referred to Stephanie as Stef, and you might not ever be called Stef.
Oh no, that's fine. Don't worry.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I thought it was, but I didn't know where I knew it from, and I suddenly went, "Oh God, have I done that awful thing where I've abbreviated someone's name?" And I go, "Fucking hell, hate it when people call me that." So anyway, fine. Right, you can edit that out. That's fine.
I was very amused, Charlie, by your thread on Twitter about acceptable pseudonyms for Charlie. You detailed the suitable. So it was never Charles, but Charles is acceptable. and Charles.
I didn't say never Charl, but I've never heard anyone say
I
Charl.
was going to say, who says either?
See, no, one person did say Charl once, and it was cool. God, who used to do Property Ladder? What was she called? Beanie, Sarah Beanie. I was on a chat with her, an internet chat, back in the early days of internet chat when it was really exciting. You can log on and send your questions to Sarah Beanie from Property Ladder. And I was the last one that got answered. And I said, do you think they should rename it Beanie Knows Best because we do? And she said, and she typed back, good idea, Charl. And I was on the one hand pleased that she answered, but also like, it's not Charl, it's Charlie.
Probably a mistake.
Probably was, but you know, there was no apology. So I would have apologised personally afterwards. I'd have said, I'm terribly sorry, viewers, but I've just done a typo accidentally. I did actually intend to put a Y at the end of there. I hope no offence was caused. That's just me.
A friend with a really long name. Well, I mean, not like a hugely long name, but on the longer end of names. And everybody abbreviates it. Like everybody, because there's a really obvious abbreviation. And she absolutely hates it. She's hated it her entire life, and everyone's done it to her entire life. And she's too polite to tell people otherwise. So she just goes along with it. And I feel that's quite sad.
Yeah, I won't be called Cass. I mean, there's one person who got away with that. Was my grandmother was allowed to call me Cass. And,
shouldn't have to.
She's no longer with us, so no one gets to call me Cass. Cassie, Cassandra, Doris, or Mummy.
Yeah.
You know.
I do sometimes get men in this, well, not in the street, men sometimes say, Charlie, is that short for Charlotte? And I just go, no. And that's that. It's not.
Names are important. Very important.
Just some Doris. You can just ignore us. Don't need to know my name. Girls are all the same. Beds are all the same. Chicks are all the same. Doris is our name. Dressed us up in body pink. Until you stood our glitches in. Don't let us speak, don't let us think. As our cycles getting sick. Getting sick. Just some Doris. You can just ignore us. Don't need to know my name. Girls are all the same. Birds are all the same. Chicks are all the same. Doris is our name. Daddy's girls and all that malarkey. We know our place in the hierarchy. Do you think we're being sulky? Names are given by the patriarchy. Patriarchy. Just some Doris. You can just ignore us. Don't need to know my name. Girls are all the same. Birds are all the same. Chicks are all the same. Doris is our name. From notaries to rosaries, our fate is sealed in our bodies. We've got porous ovaries, so we're Doris nobodies. Nobodies. Just some Doris. Just some Doris. You can just ignore us. Just ignore. Don't need to know my name. Don't know mine. Girls are all the same. Birds are all the same. Chicks are all the same. Doris is our name. Doris is our name. Doris is our name. Doris is our name. Girls are all the same. Girls are is our name. Doris is our name. Doris is our name.
We worked out the other day that our first kind of proper Doris gig was playing with Big Joanie, which kind of meant a lot to us. I think kind of one day we might, you might be playing in a big stadium somewhere, and we'll be like, yeah, we played with them, kind of, years ago. We played with them in a pub.
Yeah, I remember that. Was that in the North Chalk? Was it in Chalk Farm?
Yeah.
Fiddler's Elbow.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was that gig where we had to cover songs that were kind of written by men, and were kind of reclaiming songs which kind of you kind of loved, but in retrospect you kind of listen to the lyrics and you think, oh God, that's just awful sexist nonsense.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, we did some Phil Spector songs, which are obviously like.
Which ones?
I think we
Remind
did
me again.
Be My Baby, and He's a Rebel. Yeah, I think we did those two, which were like really amazing songs, but obviously Phil Spector's a terrible human being. And it was, and like specifically, he was like, those songs were good because he was a terrible human being, which is like the moral quandary of that, the whole Spector vibe of just he forced all those women and kind of lied to them and told them he'd make them famous and then used them, and it was kind of really gross what he did. But yeah, so it's kind of trying to reconcile the reality of who he is with the songs that he made.
Have you played those songs since?
No.
Just for that one event?
They were just for that one, because I guess like it's hard to. They're really nice to play and like, but better to listen to. It's better to just listen to Be My Baby, really. So I think we only kind of do covers if it's something that we can mold into our style or kind of like change it up a bit. Like when we first tried to do Solange, I think we were doing it a bit too kind of rigidly to the original, and it was kind of like it didn't really make any sense for us to do it like that. So it took us a while to kind of figure out we should just do it, in our own style.
I love that.
I
really
really
heavenly.
especially love that guitar that comes in at the beginning and then later on everything drops out and you hear it again. That like early Cocteau Twins kind of spooky guitar. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was really fun working on that. We worked with Margot Broom, who did the production for our first album. So yeah, it was really fun.
What does Solange think of that? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. She's heard. We only know that she liked a tweet that was about us covering it. So I guess she knows that we exist and that it's happened. But
I would take that as an endorsement.
Yeah.
Is that a kind of taster of the sound of the second album? Do you think?
I mean, I guess in a way, I think that we really enjoyed kind of making the sound quite big and quite epic, and kind of drawing in those kind of different influences, and maybe that people don't really realize that we have, in terms of kind of like that quite grungy, maybe kind of almost stoner rock type, or desert rock type vibe. So yeah, I feel like there might be things that people wouldn't expect from us, but we're still kind of like figuring it all out. It could all sound like that. Could sound completely different. I won't give everything away.
Quite right.
When do we get to find out what it sounds like?
Well, we want to start recording hopefully before the end of this year. So, I mean, fingers crossed, maybe kind of autumn next year, we can get it out to people and can let us know what you think.
So, Charlie, have you got any exciting news coming up? Any plans?
Charlie's going to release 3 double LPs.
I have to whittle down my 33 songs to either whittle that down to one album or, as Doris just pointed out, make a triple album. It's called End Times, I know that, and I've got the cover for it. The cover is one of my drawings I did right at the beginning of lockdown. I started doing drawings, having never done any art at all since I was at school. I suddenly got really into drawing at the end of last year, and so I'm doing that a lot too. I've basically decided I am an artist. No, really, I am.
Excellent.
And I'm doing that, and I'm also supposed to be, but I have to say I haven't got very far with this. I keep trying to write a book. I'm just not very good at focus at the moment. I started because I've been trying off and on for years to do a kind of memoir kind of book, but I was trying to make it a little bit different, and I kept trying lots of different ways. And then recently, I found myself on a Cocteau Twins forum getting really fed up with everyone on there. And because they were all so like, oh, it's so boring. It was like, this is my favourite Cocteau Twins song, what's yours? Oh, Liz Fraser has got the voice of an angel, do you agree? So I basically did a really long essay where I went into character as a middle-aged man who was once in the Cocteau Twins, and used to play behind the scenes. I was too scared to be on stage, and it was so elaborate, and I had a whole voice for it, and it remains the funniest thing I've ever written. I was literally, I'm going to big myself up. Every time I read it, I would just laugh every other sentence. I was like, this is definitely good. I'm going to put it on the internet. So I put it on the internet, thinking they would find it hilarious. I had also really made sure that I put enough things in that were definitely not true, that Cocteau Twins fans would know, even if they couldn't tell from my tone that I was joking. And then I was quite shocked because, to begin with, it was loads of people going, oh my God, this is so amazing to hear. Thank you for sharing your story. This insight is just so... Then I felt really guilty. And I was like, oh no. And then it was the backlash, and there was really angry people going, you were not in the Cocteau Twins. Simon Raymond was not in the Cocteau Twins on the date you cite. And I was like, I know, that was one of those dates. But anyway, but anyway, it was, then I thought, so anyway, this is now I know how to do my memoir. It's going to be a mixture of stories of bands I've been in and stories of bands I've been in.
That's brilliant. I want to read it. I want to read it now.
So the one I'm doing at the moment, which I haven't got that far with, is I'm in U2, but U2 developed their sound because I lent Edge my delay pedal because he's got terrible timekeeping, and basically then they've decided that they don't really have much room for my lead guitar in the band, and I've gone, sod it, I'm going to just leave them and become a tour manager anyway, and I'm not really bitter about it, you know. It's like water under the bridge.
I mean, I'm willing this to be true, even though I know it's not.
Yeah, just take my money.
Oh,
That sounds amazing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If someone can just give me some, like a lifetime supply of pseudoephedrine so I can actually focus long enough to actually do all this stuff.
No, just keep going as you are. It's brilliant.
You're doing fine. You've written 33 songs in the...
I haven't finished 33 songs. This is the thing. I'm always full of ideas and I start stuff and I get distracted and it's just doing my head in.
Snippets. Just don't do like a full song. Just do like a bit of this, you know, like 30 seconds of that. Then it goes into something else and then it's 30 seconds.
I like your thinking, and in fact, I have decided I'm keeping them all short. I'm with you on that. But I do need to actually record them properly and finish some of the lyrics, because a lot of them just go, oh, there's a really good verse, and then I'm going, something, I'll figure this out in a minute. And
I would listen to that.
I would listen to that too.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just do it like that then. I've still got to record it, but at least we've narrowed it down. We can just splurge it out, get it out. Not, you know.
Could make a song about it though.
Oh, do you know what I did do? Make it. As part of the whole thing, and this all stemmed from one of the ridiculous things on this Facebook group was somebody had argued with my friend about what the lyrics to Musette and Drums were, and got very, very adamant that it was actually about Romeo and Juliet. And my friend was like, well, what do you mean it's about Romeo? Have you spoken to Liz Fraser? I've done my research. You should do your research, was the answer. So I did my research, which was to listen to the song again and work out, you know, just transcribe exactly what I heard. And what I heard was something about a duck and some Julian chocolates and various things. So I basically rewrote the lyrics. Well, I wrote the lyrics as they are, having done my research. And this all got worked into the story about, you know, it was basically a song that I'd written when I was in the Cocteau Twins. Well, I'd written the music, and then Liz came up with all this stuff based on stuff we were talking about in the studio, including the fact that Robin had a disaster with some henna and stuff like that. And I recorded on my little recording Walkman a little idea for song, and I just sort of played a few of the chords. Then it's basically going to go like this, and it was just all... I mean, I thought even after when they'd got through the whole essay, they still hadn't twigged it was a joke. They would then hear my little dictaphone recording of me going, idea for song. And they might realise that Musette and Drums isn't actually about Julian chocolates and Liz Fraser thinking that I'm a genius, like me, Charlie. So.
That is brilliant. Have you ever heard of some YouTube woman called Miranda Sings? Do y'all know Miranda Sings?
No.
Yeah.
She did something like that started out as a joke because she couldn't get so I think she was an actress or something doing musical theater, and she couldn't get any parts or something like that, so she just started this YouTube thing as this character Miranda, who's just really terrible but thinks she's great, and she's an actress, she's a singer, she's a model, she's a juggler, she's a musician, she's a blogger, she's an influencer, you know, she does like all of these things. And then people started, you know, in on her about this is shit, this is terrible. And then she started just saying, haters, back off, you know, you're all jealous of my talent, sort of thing. The whole time, and people were taking it seriously. Now she's been going a few years now, so now it's like a sort of comedy YouTube thing, but it didn't start out that way. And the people who got it all became her fans. They called themselves Merfandas.
Oh, great.
Something. And she's making a living from it now. But at the beginning, it was absolutely hilarious because they were just ripping into her. And then she would just like come on there and say, well, that's just rude. I'll pray for you. That's just.
Okay, I think we're all going to go and look this up later now.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
I loved everything I just heard. I would watch it, I would read it, I would like listen to the songs. That's just brilliant. I love the backlash. I think I'm a troll at heart.
Right, so that's what Charlie's up to. What about you, Delila?
I'm going to finish mixing this song that I'm working on. That's going to be a fundraiser, raising money to help get protesters out of jail in America. And that's the acoustic thing that I was telling you about earlier. And I'm mixing that and hope to have that ready at the beginning of October. And I'm doing, I don't know if you all know Reese Palmer. She's doing like a show on Apple. So I'm going to do like a spot on her. She's a country music singer.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do a spot on that. And then finish editing up that mashup video I was telling you about with the Kings of Leon and Shabba Ranks mashup. So, so I hope to have that like maybe the end of October, maybe. So
I really want to see.
I'm trying to raise money, pushing Bandcamp and all that, and trying to like, get some money together so I can master all of these demos. They're all demos that I've got, so I'm trying to raise money to get mastered.
So Stef, what's next for you?
Like I said, Big Joanie are working on our second album where we're kind of writing with our right now and trying to kind of get all our songs together, and that's happening. I'm trying to work on solo stuff, but that'll come a bit later, maybe in a couple of months or something, maybe, I don't know. And I'm also working on a book that should be out next May, I think, next May or June, which is also about Solange Knowles, and is out on University of Texas Press next year. It's called Why Solange Matters, and it's kind of looking at why she matters, why she's kind of such an interesting artist and important to the times.
Cool.
Oh, exciting.
Thank you so much for all coming.
Oh,
Thank you so much after your working days.
I haven't got a working day. I haven't. I've just been sat in the park being a complete layabout.
You can do the podcast every week then if you've got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Pick a tabard on and come and join in.
Very pavement of the city knows. Did you come and visit everyone in their sleep, or was it just me? Was it just me? No, of course it wasn't just me.